It's Friday, and I'm going to teach you a really simple trend line strategy that's going to show you how to get into trade accurately for a bigger win size. So stay tuned and watch this strategy. All right, now, happy Friday, everyone. And again, today I'm going to teach a strategy. It's the Friday video. Tim is away again. He's going to be back very soon, and I cannot wait because his trades and training is the best. All right, so I'm going to show you a trend line strategy that you can use to help you become successful at finding good trades. All right, now, the first thing I like to do on my trend strategy is I like to go to a higher time frame. And I like to find trends that are moving in a specific direction, up or down, on a bigger time frame. So step one of the strategy is to go to a daily chart. And from there, we want to find a trend. For example, you can see that right here we have an uptrend, right? And then obviously when we get the break, it's a very excellent down move here. If we would have taken this trade, it would have been great. However, I'm looking for something to help me get in to the trades a little bit more accurately, which means a shorter time frame so I can have a little bit bigger size and win bigger trades. Because on a daily time frame, if we would have entered here on this break, it would have been 150 points. And yes, 150 points, at our target here would have been 430. That's still a 3-to-1. That's pretty good. And we would have only had to wait 6 days, so that's not terrible. But I'm looking to get a little bit smaller than that. So what I want to do is to find the time frame, the trend on a daily. So right now, if we look at this, because this trend has moved from an uptrend to currently moving down, now I would like to look for short trades. Overall, though, this is still an uptrend as well. Well, actually, let's see, maybe it's not. Actually, it's broken this trend line as well. So this is definitely a downtrend now. So on the daily time frame, we're moving down, everything's pointing down. But what I want to do, and I'm using this pair because I actually just took a trade on this one, and so I'm very familiar with it. I took it this yesterday, and I've been studying it a lot. So now that we're in a downtrend, let's drop down, and we are down at a lower time frame. Okay, so this is the hourly chart. Let's look at the 4-hour. So step one was to identify it on the daily. Now that we have it, we're going to go to a lower time frame and identify some kind of trend line here. And so right now we have this. Okay, this is the trend line. And what I'm looking for is for the price to go back up into this area. All right, so let's see what we can figure out. If it goes up into this area, up in here, that's what I'm looking for. And I'm going to try to find a move into the short area. I'm not going to just take the trade when it touches, but I'm looking for a break of the trend line because this is a trend line strategy. So I'm going to now draw a smaller trend line like this. Okay, so as the price zigs and zags its way up to touch this trend line, when it breaks this down, that is going to be my trend line entry. And what that will essentially do for me is get me a little bit tighter of an entry so I can get a little bit bigger trade size and make a nicer size profit on a smaller return. So let me show you an example. If we go back to that big one that I was looking at, right? If we go here, we calculated that this entry would have been 150 pips on the stop loss. Well, now we go down to the 15-minute. We look for a very nice, if it breaks to the downside here, if I get up here and we get a break, I'd be looking at, a 45 pip stop or something a little bit more doable, because then a 45 pip stop, I only have to hit 150 for a 3-to-1, or I would only have to hit if I hit 300 targets, then it's a 6-to-1, 300 points. So by dialing down onto a smaller time frame, that helps me get a little bit bigger trade size. Now, some people don't like to do that, and that's okay, but ultimately, that's what I'm trying to do. And if I can do that over time and I can get 3-to-1s, 4-to-1, 5-to-1, 6-to-1, 10-to-1 over a long period of time consistently, I'll be able to get a rapid and quicker increase on my account by tightening up my stops a little bit. The key is to be patient. You got to be very patient on this, because why? Because this thing is going to take some time to get and to do what I want it to do. And it's got to break that trend line, right? So the cool thing is, if I'm patient, it might actually go the other way and start moving to the upside, and then that would disvalidate the trade. And by being patient, that will actually keep me out of a losing trade. And so one other thing you want to do is, when I take an entry here, so I'm going to draw just a line. Let's just assume that it goes short here. If it goes here, and this will be my entry. Let's just draw this in. If these are my entry points, this will be my entry, crossing below. Here's my stop. This would be a 35 pip stop loss. If it hit the 35, if I ended up getting up about 35 pips, then I might want to consider locking in some profit. Or what I like to do to give it a little more room is, if it get up to 70, which is a 2-to-1, then lock in 1-to-1. So here's the stop loss. If the price dropped down here 70 pips down to 136.22, then I would then take the stop loss like this, and I would move it in and lock in 1-to-1, which would be, I would go move the stop here and lock in about 35 pips. Let me just move it just a little bit more. It's stuck. Okay, so I would lock in 35 pips. So that would probably be it, right? That's the strategy. It seems rather simple, but like I tell people all the time, it's not about a strategy. It's about how you trade it, about how you manage it, how you keep track of your trades and work on consistently trading your system, following your rules, keeping track of your stats. Those are the things that matter. But let's just give you one more example here of what it would look like. They're pretty fun to find. I would just practice it. Look at this amazing trend. You see this? These things were probably available all day long on this big trend here. And this wasn't even that long ago. This was June of 2019, actually from March to June. Great run here. So we can actually pull down to an hourly and go back to that a little bit. Let's go back to that 2019 period and see if we can find any good ones here. And, it's all 2020. It's all hindsight. But guess what? That's how we learn. You practice, you identify. So here's the period. We can see it. This is in May, so this was it. But look at all these different entries. There's one, right? It popped up. Everybody's coming in. Here, you want to know what traders are thinking. Everybody's like, oh, it's a reversal. And don't get me wrong, I trade reversals like the next guy, so I fall for this all the time too, but my money management keeps me in the game. They're like, everybody's going, oh, it's a reversal. Well, the people, they might have got a few pips, but the people that were patient, they drew their trend line, they got in here. Look, You get in here, get a nice 30 pip stop loss. And how far did it go? 226 pips, right? You could do it all over the place. Here's another one, right? Where you just wait for this trend line and you wait for it to go. Does it work every time? No, it doesn't. Because look, here's one that would have failed. Get in. You might have been able to lock in profit, but that was a failure. This is a loser. When you're doing your back testing, find your losers. This one might have been a loser too, okay? But then here we go. Here's another one. This one here. This one's a winner. So we've got one winner, one winner, one loser, one loser, one winner. So we're 2 and 2. 2 wins and 2 losses. But what were the winners versus the losers? Okay, your winner here, you could have got 100 pips. Your winner here, you could have got 160, whereas your losers would have been 30. Your loser here would have been 50. What about this one, this winner? This winner, 250. Okay, so you see, if you win 2 and you get 500 pips versus your 2 losers where you're only getting 80 pips lost, your net huge up. And that's kind of how this thing will work. And so what I want you to do over the weekend, for those of you that are serious about trading, just go ahead and practice this a little bit. Find the overall trend, and in this case it was a downtrend, and then find some of these pullbacks and draw those trend lines. That's all you have to do. It's a really simple strategy, and just do that. Do like 50 of them, okay? And I want to hear you guys in the comments saying that you went and found 50 of them, and then practice it live or on demo for 10 trades, and then come back to this video and leave a comment and said, A, yes, I found 50 practice trades, and then B, that you practiced it for 10 trades, and let me know how you do, because I want to know how well you guys are hearing the instructions that Tim and I are leaving, and that you're following through, because ultimately the people that take action are the ones that are going to have success. And it's not just action, but it's planned action. It's people that are listening and they're thinking and they're following the steps exactly. They're not just randomly trading, saying I took 2 trades and it didn't work, but they're analyzing their data. They're finding out why it didn't work. And from there, they're determining what to do to make this thing better long term. So this is a really cool strategy. This thing will explode your money, explode your trading. And there's 2 things I would like to ask. Number one is, if you're interested in an indicator that finds these type of setups for you, we were talking about developing a special indicator that would actually identify these trades. Would you be interested? Just comment below. And then lastly, today is the last day for our release. It's called the early release of the Big Ben indicator, and so far we've gotten a lot of good feedback on it. So today is the last chance for that one, and it's in the link below. But if not, if you're not interested in Big Ben, no problem. We're going to be putting out great content all the time for you guys to learn to become really excellent at trading. And so leave me the feedback. Would you be interested in the indicator? Leave me some feedback that you're actually going to try this strategy out. Leave me some feedback that you're going to be going ahead and doing some back testing on trying to find these setups. All right, that's it. And don't worry, Tim will be back very soon. I know everybody's looking forward to seeing him as well as I am. And have an awesome weekend. Bye.